ground shimmered like glass under a burning sky. Rivers dried into dust. Herds collapsed where they stood. And somewhere, walking barefoot across the molten earth, was a human, not us, not Neanderthals, but Homo Erectus, the first to challenge the sun itself. 2 million years ago, the world was dying of heat. Volcanoes smoked, deserts stretched wider than nations, and survival meant defying nature's own limits. So here's the question: how did they endure it? How did fragile humans survive in a world that even beasts couldn't? Was it luck or genius? And if you were thrown into that same world, no water, no tools, no shelter, what would you trust to keep yourself alive? Tell me in the comments, because that answer might reveal how our story truly began. The story of Homo erectus begins not in comfort, but in chaos. The earth itself was angry. Volcanoes tore open the ground, spewing fire and ash into a sky that never cooled. Rain was rare. Rivers vanished. And yet in this furnace, something extraordinary happened. Life didn't give up. It adapted. They moved with the heat. When the sun rose, they didn't hide. They listened. They learned its rhythm, its cruelty, its mercy. They discovered that surviving the sun wasn't about resisting it. It was about understanding it. In the early hours, when light was gold and air was still soft, they hunted, not with speed, but with patience. Their bodies were built for endurance, long legs, narrow hips, and an engine that could run for hours. When lions pounced and failed, Homo erectus kept walking. When vultures circled above, they were still moving forward. They didn't win with strength. They won with persistence. Imagine this: an antelope bolts through the dry savanna, hooves pounding the dirt. Behind it, a small group of upright humans, barefoot, silent, relentless. Hours pass. The animal slows, stumbles, falls. It's not a battle, it's inevitability. That was Homo erectus, turning patience into a weapon sharper than claws. But no matter how strong you are, heat kills slowly. The real danger wasn't the chase, it was the wait. Dehydration, sunstroke, hunger. They needed more than instinct. They needed innovation. And somewhere, maybe by accident, maybe by brilliance, someone struck stone against stone. A spark, a breath, a flicker of flame. That moment changed everything. Fire wasn't just light, it was power. It cooked their food, unlocking more energy from every bite. It hardened wooden spears, turning sticks into weapons. It scared away predators that ruled the night. And most of all, it gave them control over their own world. For the first time in history, a human could look into the darkness and say, "No, you stay back." But fire was fragile. It needed care, patience, guardianship. Someone always had to stay awake to feed the flames. And that act, protecting fire through the night, was the birth of human trust, the first ember of civilization. Now picture their world. A camp of flickering light beneath a bleeding sunset. Children asleep under hides. Adults staring into the fire, eyes reflecting gold. No words, no language, just understanding. That moment wasn't survival. It was connection. They learned to read the land the way we read screens. Rocks meant shade. Wind told direction. And when heat waves shimmered across the horizon, they didn't panic. They followed. Because every breeze, every whisper in the dust, meant something. Homo erectus became the Earth's first explorers. Step by step, they left Africa's burning plains and walked into the unknown, through deserts of fire, through forests where no human had ever stood, into lands that froze instead of burned. And somehow, they endured them all. You could call them the first travelers, but they weren't chasing adventure. They were chasing survival. Scientists say they were the first to leave Africa nearly 2 million years ago. Their tools, hand axes shaped like teardrops, have been found scattered across continents. Each one tells the same story. Different hands, same mind. The pattern of humanity spreading like sparks on dry grass. It wasn't just fire they carried. It was knowledge, and knowledge, once shared, never dies. But even they weren't invincible. The heat gave, and the heat took away. When droughts deepened, food vanished. Entire groups disappeared, swallowed by sand. Yet others survived. Always some, always enough. Because survival wasn't perfection, it was endurance. They didn't live to dominate the planet. They lived to see one more sunrise. And maybe that's what made them last so long. Nearly 2 million years. Longer than any human species in history. Think about that. We've built cities, satellites, digital worlds. But we've only existed for about 300,000 years. Homo erectus survived 7 times longer than us, with nothing but stone, willpower, and firelight. Makes you wonder, who's really advanced? They didn't call themselves survivors. They didn't need to. They just kept walking, through drought, through heat, through time itself. And yet, even they had an ending. The last embers of their kind burned out around 100,000 years ago. No graves, no monuments, just silence. Maybe they were replaced by newer species, Neanderthals, Denisovans, us. Or maybe the heat finally won. But here's the twist. They aren't gone. Not really. Because they walk inside us. Every sweat gland, every spark of endurance, every instinct to keep going when life burns too hot. That's them. Their fire still burns in our DNA. So next time you feel the sun on your skin or the heat pressing down like a living thing, remember them. Remember the first humans who didn't run from the fire. They walked through it. It wasn't just survival. It was transformation. The heat didn't destroy them. It forged them. And maybe that's the story of us too. Because in every era, whether under fire, ice, or time itself, humanity endures, always adapting, always learning, always burning forward. So tell me this, if the world turned to fire again, if the sky burned red and rivers vanished, could we do what they did? Could we endure, not with machines, but with spirit? Because the story of Homo erectus isn't ancient history. It's a mirror. And maybe we're next to face the heat. If this story lit a spark inside you, stay close. Because the next mystery might reveal not how we survived the past, but whether we can survive the future.